Well, hey everybody, it's me Amanda with Once in a Wild, and welcome back to our regularly scheduled Wednesday program. It is 3:30 p.m. Central Time here in Texas, where we are here at Once in a Wild. Once in a Wild, by the way, is the name of our mobile zoo and company, and my name is Amanda. If we are meeting for the first time, welcome, and we can't wait to get started. It's been a while. It feels like it's been the longest week ever. I was just talking about our last program with Jordan Beasley. He was one of our guests on the show last week, and that feels like it was like a month ago. So I feel like I've been missing you guys quite a bit. So I hope you feel the same. And I hope to see a whole lot of friends, family, and followers joining in today with your questions, comments, concerns, whatever you want to talk about. Please leave it in the comments down below. We love your participation. We love your questions. And we love all of you guys so very, very much. So it's really good to see everybody. Hello, everyone who's chiming in so far. It looks like I have Donna and Samantha. Hi, Samantha. Nice to see you guys as well, of course. Now, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. And then we'll talk about Once in a Wild, and we'll start with our program. Hooray! It's so good to see all of you guys once again. And today we have a very special program. But before we begin, let's go ahead and talk about what's going on right now, right? So we are kind of back indoors again a little bit more, especially here in Texas right now, as you guys may have heard of the news. So we are wanting to remind you guys that we are still offering Zoom Room animal encounters. Those are really, really fun. They're a lot of fun for any age, and they're safe. You can meet the animals straight from the comfort of your own home. All you have to do is contact us via onceinaWilds.com. Or call me down below. My phone number is down there as well. And you can contact us that way, and you can find out all about our Zoom Room animal encounters. I'll play you guys a commercial all about that, which will explain everything as well here in a moment. I do want to remind everyone that this is tough time, so we do want to remind you guys that we do accept tips and donations to our zoo. There are a few ways that you can donate to us. The most fun way, in my opinion, is by donating to our Amazon wish list. Go to onceinaWilds.com and scroll all the way down to the bottom of that website, and you'll see the box where it says donate to our Amazon wish list. That is where we pre-selected special items for the animals, and you can actually ship them right to our door. It's really, really awesome. It's really helpful. Any item helps the animals, helps us to stay in business, to stay feeding the animals. Of course, we have to do all of that regardless of our situations going on right now. And that is one really fun and easy way to donate. Another way that you can donate directly with a amount of your choice is via Venmo, via Cash App, and via PayPal. We have all three of those options for you, and they're all Once in a Wild. That's how you find us. So Once in a Wild is our company name. OnceinaWild.com has all the information and links for that. We are also working on our website all the time. We have gift cards for you guys to purchase for your friends and family and anyone else who would love an animal encounter, maybe a Zoom encounter, or when we're back outside again, we can do an in-person encounter here in the San Antonio, Texas area. If you are interested in an in-person animal encounter, just give me a call. We'll talk about that. We'll go by case-by-case basis. Right now, we're a little bit, we're trying to figure out how we can do that safely again. But just call me so we can talk about it, or text me, or contact us through onceinawild.com. So I think I covered all the things. Let me play you guys our commercial really fast so it can explain the Zoom rooms a little bit more. And that will let you know what I'm talking about. How's that? Let's do that. And then we'll get started officially. How about that? Hey, let's change the screen a little bit. Here we go.
Stuck in the house with nothing to do? Did your students miss their fun field trip that was planned for them? Are you looking for a fun team building activity for your employees that are stuck in the house with the same old Zoom meetings from day in and day out? Was your child's birthday party canceled this year because you're stuck in quarantine? Well, have we got the solution for you? Our Zoom Room animal encounters are a great solution for you. In Zoom Room virtual animal encounters, we can bring the zoo to you, but from the safety of your own home. They are fully customizable, and you can invite all your friends to join in and meet all the animals. They are fun, unique, and very interactive. It's also a great learning opportunity. And most of all, it's very, very simple. Just contact us to book your appointment and schedule your Zoom room. Then select the animals you would like to attend in your Zoom Room animal encounter, and then send the link to all of your friends and family who are invited to the Zoom Room that we provide to your email. And best of all, we can bring the animals to anyone, anywhere, all over the world. So visit us at onceinawild.com or call us today. We can't wait to see you.
Hooray! Does that explain everything for you guys? I hope it does. Okay, so let's get rid of that now that that's over with. And I wanted to make sure and share all that information with you guys because, I mean, to be very honest, we need to right now. We need to make sure that all of that is very clear for you guys to donate and if you want to, and where to find us, and that we're still doing the Zooms. We haven't stopped doing that. We've been having a lot of fun with those Zoom rooms. They're really fun. You can invite a whole bunch of people to your Zoom. I get to see your beautiful faces right here on my screen, and we can chat together, which is a little bit different than like the live stream that we're having right now. I can see your comments, of course, and highlight your comments, which is really awesome. I love doing that as well. But the Zooms are a little bit more interactive and, of course, fully customizable. So just let me know. They're also very, very affordable as well. So hello, everyone. Hello, Samantha. Hello, Donna. Hello, Abigail and Keenan. Hello. So good to see you guys. And thank you to Donna for tagging a whole bunch of friends. Wahoo, indeed. Are you excited? I feel like I haven't done a live stream in a while, probably because last week I did like 3 in a row. And then this week I only did the Jungle Jordan one, which was really, really fun. I can't wait to have another guest on here maybe sometime soon. So stay tuned. We're getting ready to get the month ready for July. So June is over. Happy July. Welcome, everyone. And today we're talking about lizards. So as you guys know, we have a lot of lizards here once in a while. We do have all kinds of animals here. If this is your first time viewing, we have mammals, we've got birds, we've got reptiles like lizards and snakes and tortoises, and we have amphibians like axolotls and frogs, and we also have creepy crawly bugs as well and other invertebrates. So we have all kinds of animals to choose from for your animal encounters, of course, in person or on a virtual encounter such as this. But today we're just going to be talking about lizards and specifically about what they eat and a little bit of care. So feel free to chime in with your questions, your comments about lizards. Let me know what your favorite lizards are. That's always really fun to find out what kind of lizards you guys have experience with or which ones you really admire in nature. My favorite lizards are chameleons. So I really, really adore and love chameleons. I think they're so very wonderful. So what I'm going to do first, but I love all lizards though, just so you know, I like all kinds of lizards. They're from the great to the small to the in between, colorful or not. There's all kinds of lizards and they're all fantastic. Today we're going to be meeting 3 lizard animal ambassadors. Here at Once in a Wild, we have several lizard animal ambassadors. You probably know already if you've been following us, but I brought 3 today, but I did bring a whole bunch of lizard food. And as you may know, lizards are either carnivores, omnivores, or herbivores. They come in all different types of dietary needs. So we want to talk about how we take care of them here at our zoo. So I brought some of their actual lizard diets for you guys to see. I'm going to show you all the diets. Then I'm going to show you 3 lizards. I'm going to have you guys maybe guess which lizard belongs to what diet or what diet belongs to what lizard that we've met today. But I brought 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different diets. So it's not just going to be 3 diets that we see today because there's all kinds of different lizard diets in the care of humans and the animal kingdom, right? So let's go ahead and see those diets. Hopefully I can show them to you with no mess. We'll save the messy ones for last. So the first one I brought is alive. Can you guys see them? So this one is a whole bunch of different kind of bugs and insects. If I take this lid off, hopefully they won't jump out. But I've got crickets in here. I've got dubia roaches. You guys see all those bugs? The crickets might leave. You guys see them? Oh, here we go. That's a good shot. We've got dubia roaches in there. We've got super worms. Dubia roaches are leaving too. We've got crickets as well. And these are all pretty large sized of all those things I listed. I'll show them to you. And they come in all different sizes. Like super worms can be mealworms in the place of super worms if the animal is too small to eat a super worm, for example. This is a dubia roach. It is a feeder roach, if you will. It's a very, very good feeder for your insectivore type animals. Dubia roaches have a lot more nutrients than like crickets, for example. So a lot of people feed crickets and nothing but crickets to some of their lizards, and that's not really good. You want to have a good variety of feeders. Even if it is just an insectivore, you want to give them a variety of insects and all kinds of things. This is a super worm. Can y'all see the super worm? That's a super worm. And then, of course, excuse me, there's, I think, something in my nose. There we go. And there's a cricket. Cool, huh? So I just brought a little variety of different insects and some worms in there. Now, these worms are actually insects too. They're just baby insects. Super worms are a larva of a beetle. So it's just a baby beetle. But super worms actually do have 6 little legs. So they are insects. So that is one type of diet, an insectivore's diet with a variety of bugs, right? Now, when it comes to lizards, we do want to supplement their diets as well. So almost single feeding more or less, you're going to want to put a calcium powder on their food. And that's for all lizards across the board. That's actually to help them have strong bones and to grow properly, etc. Most lizards as well, not every lizard, some of the nocturnal and crepuscular lizards don't need this, but some of your diurnal lizards, so like your chameleons and your iguanas and your bearded dragons, all those guys, for example, and more, they need an ultraviolet source as well, whether that be the natural sun or that be an ultraviolet lamp that you provide them in their habitat as well, right? And that calcium is going to help them to grow properly and get enough strong bones and all of that, you know what I mean? And they also need a multivitamin about once a week. So once a week for the multivitamin, and every single feeding should usually have a calcium powder. Now, depending on the lizard, for like chameleons, for example, they can't have a lot of D3. And so you want to get a calcium powder without D3. So you're not giving them D3 every single time. They can get what do you call it? Supplemented. And then other lizards can have D3 just fine. So you always want to do your research depending on what kind of lizard you're taking care of. So that was an insect diet. This diet is very different, isn't it? This is a salad. That doesn't look so bad, does it? Not at all. So this is a red plate, obviously, and it is a salad. So we have some mustard greens. For your salad-eating lizards, I recommend dark greens like mustard greens, collard greens, and dandelion greens. You can also get the natural weeds and what we call in the zoo world browse, which are edible plants. But you always want to know what you're doing and never use pesticides on your edible plants for your plant-eating animals in general, right? And if you do, you want to rinse them. So you should always rinse your vegetables when you feed them to yourself that you get from the grocery store. And you should always rinse your vegetables before feeding them to your animals as well, just in case, because they can be very sensitive to pesticides. But I don't recommend feeding browse and natural plants from your yard if you don't know how to identify plants properly either. That's something I learned a long time ago. So I'm pretty good at that if I do say so myself. But right now, this particular lizard diet has mustard greens. Sometimes they get collard greens and dandelion greens and other things too, and browse. But there's mustard greens here, a nice big pile of it. And we've also got some chopped up squash, some yellow squash, and some chopped up sweet potato. Yum. Now, this particular lizard that gets this diet doesn't always get the same exact thing every single time. You always want to vary it up, just like with the bugs that we've talked about before, right? That are set down already. The salad items need to be varied up as well, but your staple should be those dark leafy greens. So that is another example of a lizard's diet that is an herbivore diet. As you notice, there's no bugs nor any meat on this diet. So we have a bug diet, a salad diet, and now let's have a little bit of both. So this is a salad, with the same ingredients we just talked about. We've got the mustard greens, sometimes collard greens too, mustard greens, sweet potato, and squash, chopped up very, very small. And then we've also got some dried mealworms. This particular animal, this lizard, can also get live mealworms or live bugs as well. So this is an omnivore's diet with a salad, and they also get creepy crawly bugs that are alive, or they can get, additionally, both. They get dried worms and dried bugs on their salad, but I also provide them with live bugs. And the live bugs, by the way, are always a better option for your insector lizards because they have a lot of nutrients and moisture inside of those live bugs. If you're just feeding them dry bugs all the time, for those of you that aren't comfortable with live bugs and you just want to feed dry bugs to your lizards, it's not good for them every single time because they're not getting enough moisture most of the time. That's not good for them, right? They need to have enough moisture in their body to digest and to be able to use the restroom and to stay hydrated, just like all of us, right? If we were just eating dry chips all the time, without drinking water and without whatever, we would get very, very dehydrated. And some of these lizards don't drink a lot of water. For example, bearded dragons, they don't really drink a lot of water. They get most of their moisture from the plants and the bugs that they eat. So it's really important to give them a little bit of both. The dried bugs are fine on the salad-eating omnivorous lizards. So I just wanted to show you guys that. Here's another omnivore's diet. And this one's a little bit different. It's not a salad, but there are bananas here. There is also dog food, some wet canned dog food, as well as more dried mealworms. Can you guys see the diet? There we go. It's a little bit better. This is another omnivorous lizard's diet. Canned dog food, bananas, and some worms. And here's another diet that's just worms. This is just dry worms, but this lizard also does get live worms and bugs as well. But as an example today, I've just brought some dried Worms because it's really easy to hold, right? So just worms for that one. This is another lizard's diet that is an omnivorous diet. I know it's a little bit hard to see, but it's basically a powder mix that you mix with water, and then you mix it up until it's kind of like a ketchup consistency. You'll see it there. And this lizard also does get bugs too. This is an omnivore lizard, but a very specialized feeder. This is a lizard that eats nectar and also bugs in nature. So in human care, we supplement the nectar and substitute it with something else, right? All right, cool. You guys taking all the notes? There's going to be a quiz after this. Remember, we're showing all the diets, and then we're showing some lizards, and then we're going to have a quiz to guess the diets that belong to the lizards. And then there's going to be some extra ones, and I'll tell you all the answers at the end. Don't worry. And then we have, I want to make sure I got them all. We have this one as well, and I don't want to spill it because, I think you guys can see it. Right here is a raw egg. So this is another omnivorous lizard. As you can see, there's a lot of omnivorous lizards that eat both plant items and meat items, if you will. There is a raw egg right here. I don't want to spill this onto my computer. So there it is. It's wiggling around. Can you see the raw egg? That is this lizard's favorite food, is the egg part. This lizard also gets some canned dog food, same as the last one, some banana, and some dried mealworms. And this lizard also does get a variety of other things as well. But this is kind of their normal diet, if you would, about 3 times a week for this lizard. Okay, so be thinking about that while we meet our animals. Now, I think that's everybody. And every diet, I should say. We showed our insects, we showed our omnivorous diet, and a salad, which was for our herbivore lizard, right? Well, let me put these away for later. And don't worry, none of these diets are going to waste, of course. Nothing goes to waste here at Once in a Wild. We definitely don't like to waste anything, and all of our animals get fed. So all those diets are actually the real diets that are going to the animals after this. So maybe I'll film the animals getting their diets, and then I'll give you guys some links so you can see that, or show them on the next program. Wouldn't that be cool? Speaking of videos, before we begin with our live animals, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys some videos of some animals eating. How about that? So which one do I pick first? How about an iguana? So iguanas are actually herbivores, usually. So your green iguanas, which is what we have here at Once in a While, they are herbivores. So first, let's just show a fun iguana video, why don't we? Because she's amazing. So Joanna, the iguana, is not here today, but she is going to provide us a video here. And this is her outdoors and her outdoor enclosure. And she lives outdoors most of the year, as long as it's warm enough, which here in Texas, it's usually over 60 degrees most of the year. So as long as it's 60 and up, she can go outside, and she's outside right now. But this is in the past, and I was giving her a little shower. So let's watch that really fast, shall we? Showerly. Okay. She is so pretty. So Joanna is a green iguana, and she is a tropical species. These guys are also arboreal, meaning that they are good tree climbers. You can see how well she climbs up in the tree there. And she is enjoying her shower in slow motion, as you can see. She's shutting her eyes and smiling, which they kind of have a permanent smile. It's not really a smile, but it looks like one. But they do enjoy being showered. They are a lizard that really, really likes humidity. In fact, I do shower her about twice a day when she's outdoors. And unless it rains, of course, and it sometimes does rain pretty well here in San Antonio, Texas, where we're from. So if it's a nice rainy day, I don't really have to worry about it. As you can see down below her, below the branch there, she does have kind of a pool, which I do give her every now and then for enrichment. She always has water, of course, to drink and to get in if she wants to. But iguanas don't really drink a whole lot out of their water source. They'll drink a lot off of the leaves of the trees, and they eat the leaves of the trees, and they eat flowers and fruits and things. So they get most of their water that they need from the plants that they eat. But what iguanas love to do is also get into the water. So down below there is a water tub, and she can get down in there and get soaked and get nice moisturized that way. And she can also use the restroom in the water, which is what they naturally do. So that's going to help her to stay regular, to stay healthy and whatnot. But there she is, just getting a shower. Joanna is the lizard queen. We've had Joanna, well, I've had her over 10 years now, and we do not know her age, but she was a rescue lizard. And you see that little sneeze that she did? These guys do sneeze salt out of their system through their nose. Isn't that fun? They cannot sweat, but they have to get rid of their excess salt somehow. So they sneeze it out of their nose. So that's fun. Cool, huh? So that's our iguana. Let's go ahead and see her eating as well while we're on a roll here with iguana stuff. Here is, let's see. I got to share the screen first. step one. I hope you guys are enjoying this so far. It's nice to see everybody. I really missed you guys. Oh my goodness. Hello, Jordan. Nice to see you. And hi, Ricky. He's saying, yes, Ricky is usually watching. And it's going pretty good. We're trying to stay busy and hang in there, of course. I hope your move went well if it's happened already. And I hope your birthday went well. And Ricky's saying hello to Jordan. Jordan was our guest last week, which felt like a month ago at this point. It's been the slowest week ever. And yes, Samantha says some worms for Ricky. Just kidding. Ricky loves worms. It's his favorite animal. Okay, let's see here. Oh, yes. I got distracted by y'all's sweet comments. Okay, let's check out Joanna eating, shall we? But you can guess which diet was her diet now, right? The only salad diet I had. Okay, let's check out this one. She's getting an assortment of collard greens, kale, mustard greens, some mixed greens in here, a little bit of this and that, just kind of just like a mixed bag diet for that day. And I am feeding her on a paper plate, which I know isn't that classy, but it's just what I had sitting there at the time. That's real life. So she's eating in slow-mo in this video, which is pretty cool. These guys do have a cool like pink tongue, and they just love their food, man. Like they really like to eat, especially when they're nice and warm and outside and getting a lot of energy from the sun. Look at her go. Look at that drool. Oh, she's like a Godzilla over here. She's so cool. But usually I feed her on a nice red plate like I showed you. But one really kind of fun trick with your diurnal lizards that eat salads and some of your tortoises that eat salads and things like that, because tortoises are herbivores as well, just like iguanas. One way to trick them into eating a little bit better if you're having a picky eater is to feed them on a red dish. Feeding them on something red actually triggers their brain to think food, because in the wild, in nature, iguanas and tortoises a lot of times eat red foods like fruits and hibiscus flowers and other flowers and things. That's kind of their favorite thing to eat. So I think it just triggers their brain into thinking it's food time, and they see the color red. A lot of people that train their tortoises, for example, will use a red target to train their tortoises because they naturally just kind of go towards the red color, which is pretty cool, isn't it? I think that's such a neat little trick that I learned a long time ago when I was learning how to take care of reptiles. I've been working with reptiles for a long time. But Joanna is really cool. Like I said, look at her go. So green iguanas are herbivores. They don't eat any kind of animal matter or animal protein at all. And they should not be fed insects or anything like that. There are other types of iguanas that can occasionally eat like worms and things like that. But as far as a green iguana, I don't recommend feeding them any animal protein. Trust me, they grow just fine on that vegan diet. Look at her go. I forgot how long this video is. Good Lord. But she is so cool. And I know Joanna is an older girl. I don't really know her age. We think she's around 14 or 15 at least. And iguanas of this species usually live into their 20s. So we hope that she'll be with us for a lot longer. But I don't know her history at all. She was a rescue animal. Speaking of which, do not buy a green iguana. They are not good pets. A lot of them end up in rescue situations or abandoned because they do usually get purchased very small and then they grow very large. And if you don't have a large enclosure like we have to keep her outside and everything else, and if you don't live in a climate where you can keep them outside, they're very difficult to keep indoors. And to give them all the proper care that they need, like ultraviolet light and lots of room. These guys get huge. They need salads at least 3 to 4 or 5 times a week, depending on the season. This time of year in the summer, she could probably eat every day. I usually feed her 3 to 5 times a week, which is perfectly healthy for them. Let's try another one real quick while we're talking about her. So cool. This is her regular like plate, and this salad actually has more treat items on it. She definitely doesn't get these items every single day. But she's getting like some carrot and some strawberries that day and kale. So kale is something I would only suggest feeding on occasion. You can feed it like once a month or twice a month. But for staple diet, you want to feed them your mustard greens, collard greens, and dandelion greens, as well as browse if you know how to collect browse. But for kale can have too many things in it. I forget what's in it that kind of disturbs their system. But it's fine on occasion. You can give them kale every now and then. And they like it. As you can see, she's eating it up. But I felt like spoiling her that day. She's my little princess, so... Oh, excuse me, queen. She's the queen. That's what she told me. She's a lizard queen. So yes, let's see what you guys are talking about down here. I just love watching her eat. These guys are so cool looking and kind of a underrated and underappreciated lizard because they are pretty common, unfortunately, in the pet trade. They're not a good pet. They actually tend to be pretty cranky. They do bite, they do tail whip, and they do have razor sharp teeth and claws, which they use for all kinds of defense in nature. So not an excellent pet, to say the least. What are you guys talking about down here? Oh, here's a good question from Keenan. Keenan says, I found green anoles and garter snakes in my yard. What do anoles eat? So garter snakes, oddly enough, eat a similar diet to anoles. So green anoles are insectivores. They eat all kinds of bugs for us. So they are very, very good for the environment. Did you know that brown anoles are actually invasive, but they're not harmful to the environment? So they're one of those invasive species that are fine to let hang out in your yard and around you. And green anoles, though, are native to Texas and whatnot, and they do eat bugs. So they're going to be an insectivore type lizard. When it comes to garter snakes can eat all kinds of different things. They eat worms, they eat maybe little tiny frogs, but they do eat roaches and other bugs. So I really appreciate garter snakes because roaches are not my favorite animal. I don't mind the Madagascar hissing cockroaches, and as you can see, I'm fairly comfortable handling the dubia roach feeder roaches, but those wild roaches, those water bugs and German cockroaches, I am not a fan. You want to see me run from an animal? That's the one I run from, is the flying roach. So not a fan. So I do appreciate animals that eat them, like lizards and garter snakes. Did you know that garter snakes eat bugs? Isn't that cool? But they eat a variety of different things as well. Donna is my mom, and she says, lizard queen, she is. I guess you're talking like Yoda today. But yes, Joanna is the lizard queen, indeed. So are you asking about the iguana? I guess you are. Ricardo is asking, does it have teeth? I don't see any. Yes, iguanas have razor sharp teeth. They are very, very tiny, and how they use their teeth is similar to how a shark would bite on a large like whale or a large food item. Have you ever watched like National Geographic or any other nature program where you're watching a great white shark and it bites onto a big food like a whale, and it goes and basically razors off and shreds off a piece of meat before it can eat it? Iguanas are kind of like that with leaves. So out there in nature in Central and South America, where they're from, they're going to be hanging out in the trees most of the time. They're a very arboreal animal, and they'll bite onto a big leaf or something like that, or a flower. And if they can't eat the flower or leaf the way it is, they'll actually bite onto it and razor it right off of the tree. And they have extremely sharp teeth, although they are very tiny, but they have tons of them. I forget how many teeth an iguana has, but they absolutely have teeth, and they absolutely can use them for defense. Okay? They are not a great pet. Do not get a green iguana unless you are a zoo like me and you know what you're doing. Okay. This is a good question. Abigail is asking for Keenan, I suppose, as well. Thank you. Do garter snakes eat nuts or plants? They do not. So snakes do not eat any kind of plants or vegetables, but snakes do eat a variety of other animals that they can get a hold of, right? That is a great question. No vegetarian or omnivorous snakes. Great question. Keep the questions coming, you guys. I love your participation. And don't forget to, of course, subscribe to us on YouTube if you haven't done so already. We're broadcasting on YouTube and on Facebook today, as we have been. And please subscribe to us over there, as well as like the video and share it with all your family and friends that love animals, as well as ring the notification bell and all the things. We're still working on our YouTube channel. We don't have a ton on there yet, just the live streams and a few other things. But make sure to subscribe, and you'll see some more content very, very soon. And you're absolutely welcome, Abigail, by the way. So let's go ahead and meet a real lizard, shall we? We've been watching all these videos about our iguana, but let's meet a real lizard. Would you guys like to meet one? This is a new lizard to us. It's actually a brand new lizard, not a new species. We've had this species on the show before, but this is his very first time to be on the live stream. Make sure everything's in focus here. So please have patience with him. He is very beautiful, but it is his first time being on the show. So we're going to give him a chance. His name is George. And George was actually a donation to our zoo. We're going to be very, very gentle with him. Can you see how beautiful he is? So George here is a panther chameleon. He is a blue bar panther chameleon, or a blue bar ambolombi panther chameleon. These guys are found in Madagascar, right off the coast of Africa, of course, in the African continent. Madagascar is a great big giant island there off the coast of the mainland of Africa. You guys probably knew that already, right? You know your geography, I hope. Panther chameleons are the most colorful chameleon in the entire world, and this, I dare say, is probably the most colorful of all the panther chameleons. Not all panther chameleons are the same. The blue bar ambulomi panther chameleon has the most variety in colors, but there are many other subspecies of panther chameleon all over Madagascar. And I promise you that's not him shaking, that's just my weak hand holding him up. A little bit hard to hold up the animal sometimes on the show. He is absolutely gorgeous, isn't he? I think he's a wonderful addition to our show. We do love chameleons right here at Once in a Wild, and we love talking about them. Chameleons are extremely unique when it comes to being a lizard. Chameleons have prehensile tails, which right now he's actually curling up because he doesn't really need to use it right now. Although I'm sure when he's climbing, if he wants to gain his balance again, he will use his tail like a fifth limb. So a prehensile tail is like another arm for them. They can gain their balance, and he has a truly prehensile tail, which he's going to be using here in a second, I bet you. He can actually hold his entire body weight with his prehensile tail if he wants to. And he does not lose the tail like some other lizards can do for defense. He cannot do that. He also has very special hands, which are designed for an arboreal lifestyle. Arboreal, by the way, hello, just like the iguana, means they live primarily in the trees. So like the word arbol, right, in Spanish. Arboreal means in the trees. That is where he lives, in nature. They're going to be hanging out in the trees most of the time. If he needed to come down to the ground for a safety reason or some other reason, he could do so, but his little hands and feet are designed to climb tree branches. They are fused together like little mittens. He has the same amount of toes that any other lizard usually has, but they're all fused together, kind of like in two digits together each foot, and they are fused together like little oven mitts like this, so he can easily climb. You want somewhere else to go? I'm trying to be very, very gentle with him. Not that he's fragile or anything, but I just want to give him a good time for his first live stream encounter, right? We want to be gentle with our animals and make sure they're okay. He's actually a very good-natured panther chameleon as well. He's just trying to figure out his surroundings. It's very bright in here. They do like bright light, though. Chameleons are diurnal. All of them are. And they do require a basking light, like we talked about. He's going to hold his own tail, I think. And they are awake during the day. So they're okay with lights. But a lot of times they're looking for somewhere to hide because they are vulnerable to predators. But speaking of predators, they're also predators, too. And chameleons are really amazing at hunting insects. They are insectivores, and they do have incredible vision. So chameleons, unlike most lizards, actually don't have any ears. So they are very visual animals. And they use their amazing eyesight to pinpoint where their prey is. So he's got very googly eyes, as you can see. His eyes are independently moving, and he can move them in different directions to see different things around him and whatnot. And he can also move them in front of his face when he sees prey, which would be like a bug, right? Oh my goodness, look how cool he looks, climbing down my arm there. And, but once he has found a prey item like a bug, he'll point his eyes forward, and then he uses his amazing tongue, which is actually as long as the tip of his nose to the tip of his tail. That's how long his tongue can expand to. Here you go, buddy. And he can reach out and grab his food without having to be anywhere near it. Isn't that amazing? The tongue is very long and kind of compresses into their mouth here, kind of that throat patch here underneath his little orange part here. That's where the tongue is stored. It's very squishy, so it can store in there. But he can propel it very, very quickly, like rocket speed, out of his mouth when he wants to hunt. And it will kind of engulf that prey, that insect, right? It's very sticky as well. It kind of smothers the insect, brings it back into his mouth immediately, and then he can eat it. Isn't that amazing? He does have so many colors, right? So this chameleon can be any color of the rainbow, pretty much. We did name him George after Boy George in the Karma Chameleon song. And he is so cute. He's trying to get down, I guess. But depending on their mood is what their colors are going to change. So he can change from rainbow colors to all orange. He can be pretty much all green like he is right now. He's seeing something down below that he's not comfortable with. You're okay. I think once he figures out that he's okay, he'll be totally fine. And again, this is his first time being on here, so we're going to be patient with him. He is super sweet. There's a lot of things to see around here, huh, buddy? And they are so visual that they're always looking around, literally all around their body with their independently moving eyes. Their eyes actually see 2 fields of vision. So each eye will see a different field of vision on either side of their head and tell their brain all kinds of information, what they see. And yeah, they're just amazing lizards, aren't they? Come here, buddy. They do not have sticky feet. I've had people ask me that before, if they have like feet like geckos. They don't. They just have little claws, and they hold on to branches, and my arm in this case. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to make sure he's okay before we show you a video about chameleons. We do have a video of our other chameleon, Freddie, actually eating. Let's show you that while we're talking about chameleons. How about that? Yes, here's Freddie, young Freddie when he was just a young thing. And in this video, we're going to be feeding him in slow motion. And he's going to get a cricket. Look at that guy over there. Okay, look at him go. So you can see the cricket on the right-hand side by our logo there, crawling up the side of the enclosure. And he's going to snag it with his tongue there in slow-mo, because if I didn't slow it down, it would happen too fast. Isn't that cool? They're also very impolite eaters. When they finally get their bug that they want to eat, they chew with their mouth fully open and kind of just, they eat it up. Isn't that awesome? Chameleons are amazing. They're so unique in the way that they feed and where they live, their vision, their prehensile tail, and their ability to change colors. Isn't that incredible? We're going to watch that again just because. It's my show and I say what happened. I'm sure you guys don't mind watching it again. You can see his tail is curled up on the video there. Look at him go. That's so cool. You're okay, George. Yum, yum, yum. So chameleons do not eat any kind of plants. They live in the plants and they hang out in the trees, but they don't eat the plants. They're going to eat bugs. So insectivores is what they are. Pretty cool. So I bet you can guess what his diet was. Yeah, pretty cool. What questions do you guys have about the chameleon? Let's see. He is so beautiful. I agree. Chameleons are incredible. Now, a lot of people ask us if they can change colors to blend into any background or if they're changing colors to blend into anything. And that's really not the case. Naturally, they do have kind of a varied pattern on them, which can blend into some kind of shadows and backdrops. But as you can see, he doesn't really blend into much. But in the trees, these guys would blend into the shadows because of their pattern, not so much the colors. Some of them do, depending on the species and whatnot. Some chameleons are just green and brown, so that would blend in a lot better. But chameleons change their colors based on usually their mood and sometimes their temperature. So he's going to show other chameleons how he feels. If he sees another chameleon, chameleons are solitary. But if they see another male chameleon, for example, the species, if he sees another male, he would maybe flash some colors that means stay away from me. It's my territory. Get out of here. Or some colors that mean we're going to fight now, etc. If he sees a female, it's very, very different. He might show off some pretty colors to impress the lady friends, right? And hopefully he gets a mate. So they can change colors for those kind of purposes, not necessarily just to blend in to like my shirt or something, right? So that's what they do. Their color is based on mood, usually in other situations. Here we go. Let's see. He is so cool. I agree. And welcome, George. Indeed. His name is George, the panther chameleon. Christian's saying, it looks like the tongue is heavy on the tip. Yes, so the tip of the tongue is very, very thick and bulbous and gross looking. And the rest of the tongue is very slender. So it kind of catapults out of their mouth very, very fast. And then the tip of it is very gross and sticky and bulbous. So it will kind of engulf that bug and stick to the bug so it doesn't get away, and then pull right back in. And then they can kind of release it into their mouth and eat it up, which is pretty awesome. But yeah, it's a lot bigger and heavier on the tip of the tongue itself. That is a great question and observation. So since George is his first time being on the program, I'm going to let him rest. That way we give him a nice, good, positive experience, right? That's part of animal training. So we're going to do that for him. And chameleons are very visual. So I'm going to let him rest in his travel enclosure down here where he's got some plants to hide behind and whatnot. But let's say goodbye to George. I think he's wonderful. And he is just gorgeous. And I'm sure he'll be back on another program as well. We love chameleons around here. See him blinking there? As you can see, they do blink. Look at his chin. So cool. They do blink with their little eyes there. And the eyes have kind of like a casing around it that helps them to stay protected. Chameleons, again, they don't have any ears. They can't really hear very well, can they? And they're very, very visual. They don't really make noises either. Sometimes they'll do a little hiss, but I think that's more of like breathing noises sometimes. Yes, I know. I think he sees another chameleon in the reflection. Maybe that's what he's upset about. He's not sure about that. Chameleons don't like each other usually unless it's male and female, and it's breeding time. Chameleons are solitary. They stay away from each other. Yeah, I think that's what it is. Okay, you did a great job, George, and you're fantastic. We love you. Look how cute he is. He always has that kind of like unsure looking face, but that's just how their face looks. So, and he has just been wonderful. We've had him for a couple weeks now, something like that. He does really well, and he's so beautiful. We'll put him away for a little bit. Right, George? Okay, guys, thank you so much for your patience. He needs a hat? What kind of hat do you think George would wear? Like Boy George hat? Is that what you mean? That might be cute. Maybe he needs some eyeshadow as well. An eyeliner. Ha. Oh, that's so nice to say, Samantha. Okay. Great job, George, indeed. Yeah, when you have new animals, you want to make it a nice positive experience. Sometimes you keep it nice and short so they're not getting too stressed. And you kind of work your way up from there. Maybe he can do longer and longer sessions. So chameleons in general are a little bit on the nervous side. We don't use them a ton for encounters. But every now and then we use them for virtual encounters like this. So we can talk about lizards and now and then for short in-person encounters, depending on the situation. But we try to keep it easy on them because they are a little bit of a nervous species. How much do they cost? That's a good question. So depending on the subspecies and the gender, you do normally want to look for, if you're going to get a, I can't talk today, guys. If you're looking for a pet chameleon, like a panther chameleon, veiled chameleon, Jacksons, all those guys, I do suggest a male in general. Jackson chameleons are a little bit different because they don't lay eggs, but females of chameleons that lay eggs tend to have a much shorter life expectancy than males because it's a big toll on their body to lay a lot of eggs that they do. And so long story short, males are more expensive. So a panther chameleon juvenile is anywhere from the 200 to 300 range. Typically, they're not too expensive, but I do not recommend them for beginners whatsoever. They are very advanced when it comes to keeping reptiles. They require a lot of special care. I wouldn't say they're a hard species to take care of if you know what you're doing, but I do totally recommend doing a ton of research. Maybe get on some chameleon Facebook pages with experts on there, and you can talk to them about care. That's what I've been doing lately, just to kind of revamp my care and make sure I'm doing everything right? I've been keeping reptiles for years, but I'm always learning something, and chameleons are probably the most advanced. They don't take up a ton of room, so in that aspect, they're a little bit easier than, say, like a big monitor lizard or an iguana even. I would recommend a chameleon over an iguana any day, trust me. But chameleons are definitely not a good pet for everybody, so just do your research. But they're usually in the 200 to 300, maybe 400 range, around that. Yeah, like George. So he's a blue bar ambulommy panther chameleon. They're not too super expensive. But again, you want to do your research before adopting any animal, right? That's just my advice to you. I want to be responsible. Yes, the Boy George hat. That's what I realized when I was saying that. I realized what you meant. Very, very good. Okay, let's make sure. Oh, there's another chameleon video that I do want to show you guys really fast to show you how impolitely they eat. This would be Janet, our Jackson's chameleon female, and she's eating a cricket. She's already gotten the cricket, just like Freddie got his cricket with the tongue. This is Janet, and Janet is about to eat her cricket, and I caught her with mouthful of cricket. I thought I would film it for you guys to show you how they chomp their food down. So this is Janet Jackson, the Jackson's chameleon. She is a female. So Jackson's chameleon males actually have horns on their nose. They have 3 horns, and some female Jackson's chameleons also have horns, but Janet does not. Look at her go. So you can see how the tongue looks like a normal tongue once it's in the mouth again, but it does come right out of their mouth at an alarming speed, alarming rate, and very long length. It is as long as the tip of their nose to the tip of their tail, if not longer. They can reach out and grab their food from almost anywhere in their enclosure. Pretty cool. That's Janet. She's just super cute. Okay. Let me show you another lizard, of course, because we're talking about lizards, right? And this is a very different lizard. One moment, you guys. There we go. Okay, so let's take a look at another omnivorous lizard. So we met, of course, the iguana on video. We met some chameleons, right? And I think that's it so far, right? And so chameleons eat insects only, and the iguana eats salad only. So this is an omnivore. Check him out. This is BT, the blue-tongued skink. BT is a juvenile-sized blue-tongued skink and can get about 2 to 3 times the size. Lizards and all reptiles never stop growing their whole life, so he could get a little bit bigger than that. So cute. This is an Australian species. These guys dwell in Australia in nature, and they are an animal that mimics snakes. As you might see, he has very tiny legs and a very slender snake-like body, and also very, very, very smooth. He is not slimy at all. No, lizards are slimy. Lizards are reptiles, so they don't have slime like amphibians. But he's very shiny to appearance, right? In appearance. He almost looks slimy, but he's not. It's just very beautiful. So very dry as well. But they do not change color like iguanas and like chameleons can. They cannot change color. They have the same color all the time, but they do kind of change a little bit as they grow. So all lizards and all reptiles have to shed their skin as they grow. And as they do that, they can actually change color a little bit over time, right? But these guys don't change color at will. Chameleon does. Pretty cool. So you can't do that. Sorry, BT, you cannot do that. The BT is this lizard's name, stands for blue-tongue skink. This type of lizard does mimic snakes to usually stay safe. You can see by looking down at this lizard, he does resemble a viper. So there are in Australia vipers such as the death adder, which look like this, kind of, sort of. They have a similar triangle-shaped head. And all he would have to do is hide his little legs in the grass, and he would look like a snake to predators such as hawks and eagles. So somebody mentioned hawks earlier. I think Keenan was talking about hawks, or somebody was earlier in the program. So hawks are actually the main predator of this lizard, but he does have other predators too. He could be eaten by all kinds of birds. He can also be eaten by other lizards in Australia, as well as mammals too. So he's got a lot of enemies out there that he might run into out in the wild, right? So looking like a dangerous animal like a viper is really handy when you are a prey animal at times to other animals. Another defense that he can do is bite. These guys do have a mouthful of teeth too, just like the iguana does. These guys are not inclined to bite like iguanas are. Iguanas do bite often, and they are quite cantankerous with humans a lot of times, and with people, and all kinds of. They're just very defensive lizards. These guys don't really have a defensive nature usually. They're pretty nice lizards. I would actually recommend these guys as a pet if you are very interested in a pet lizard. I recommend leopard geckos, bearded dragons, and this guy, the blue-tongued skink. I think the blue-tongued skink is the easiest to take care of. They do get a little bit medium size. They're not too super big. They're not any bigger than a bearded dragon, and they require a lot less special care, I think, than a bearded dragon. If you're interested in finding out more, please let me know. Blue-tongued skinks are omnivores. They eat all kinds of different things, and they don't necessarily need live bugs. They can eat live bugs, but this one's pretty lazy and doesn't really go after live bugs that much unless they're stuck to the rest of his food. So this one would eat all kinds of different things, and I'll reveal that at the end, right? We're talking about the diets. But they're very easy to feed. They grow like weeds. So you can actually, if you find a captive bred baby, you can grow them up pretty quickly. This one's only, I want to say like 2 years old, and it's already this big. So they grow really, really large. And this one was very tiny when we got this lizard. So I like them a lot. I think they're very easy to handle. They're very pretty, and they do very well in general, in case you're wondering. We're on the subject of pets. I don't recommend pets to you guys on an impulse. You want to do all of your research, find out as much as you can. Definitely handle the animal and be around the animal before you get them. You don't want to just buy them because you saw them on TV and you think they're really cool, like here, right? That's fine, as long as you then after follow through with the other steps that I talked about, like being around them, making sure you have the time, making sure you have the money, making sure you have the commitment to have a lizard for about 20 years. Because guess what? A lot of lizards live a long time. Chameleons don't. Chameleons actually have one of the shortest life expectancies of all lizards. Depending on the individual, the species, and the gender, chameleons live around 3 to maybe 8. There's a couple record breakers out there that can live into their 10s or 210, but it is very rare. Chameleons don't live very long. They're kind of like the flowers of the reptile world. They're beautiful and we love them. They're up in the trees and they hang out in the branches and we love to look at them and they're absolutely gorgeous, but they don't last very long, unfortunately, right? So those guys are a little bit different, but most lizards do live a long time. This type of lizard into the teens and 20s, maybe even more. I'm sure there's some record breakers out there for this blue-tongued skink species as well. Did you guys know that skinks live here in the United States as well? There's skinks all over the place. We have small skinks right here in Texas that we see all the time. They're usually hiding in the leaf litter or underneath the grass. They're very small. They're much smaller than this species. This species, by the way, gets about 2 to 3 times larger than what he is currently. But this is one of the largest species of skink in the world. The largest is actually a prehensile-tailed skink, which lives in the trees. This is a terrestrial animal living on the ground. He's got very, very tiny legs, not really good for climbing, right? So he's more designed to scoot along on the ground, and they do belly drag kind of as well. And that helps them to look like a snake and also to hide underneath things. That is usually going to be their main way to stay safe, is just hiding all the time. So back to their diet, in nature, these guys will eat snails. That's what they're really famous for eating. Shell and all, they'll kind of crunch up the snails out there in Australia. And they'll also eat lots of insects too. But as you can tell, like I said, kind of a lazy lizard. They like slow-moving food. They'll also find eggs to eat as well. They'll find fruits and some vegetables too. Yeah, and carrion. They'll eat dead animals as well. Pretty neat. I'm going to hold him with one hand so I can address you guys' questions if you have any. Let's see what you guys have to say about Beauty the Blue-tongued Skink. Is he really your favorite? Do you like them? I didn't know that. They are so cool. So skinks are very, very, if you're not in the reptile world, they're kind of underknown for some reason, but they're wonderful lizards, aren't they? Okay. Oh, yes, there are some skinks out there in nature. Like I said, Samantha, you said you have some on campus. Yeah, they show up every now and then in the grass and on the ground usually, right? Pretty cool. Ivans is asking, can a chameleon be safe on South Texas? Safe as in outside? I wouldn't keep your chameleon outside full time. They are vulnerable to predators and things unless you have a very, very secure enclosure. However, I know a lot of chameleon keepers that do keep their chameleons outside. However, it is way too hot in Texas to keep them outside in the summer heat. So no, I would say no overall. It's also too dry for them. They need a very, very humid climate. So most chameleons need to be misted at least 2 or 3 times a day and very heavily. So they need a lot of rainfall. So I would keep them indoors, honestly, with the proper lighting and heating and everything. However, they do benefit from occasional time out in natural sunlight on occasion. That's perfectly fine to give them even like a daily dose of sunlight. But it cannot be any hotter than, I would say, 85 degrees outside or so. And that's kind of rare here in Texas, right? So it's too hot. It's way too hot. Chameleons live in usually very dense jungles. And some chameleons actually live in high altitudes where it doesn't get hot at all. So for example, Jackson's chameleons actually do not tolerate heat above about 80 degrees, and that would be very hot for them. So we keep them here, around 80 degrees at the most here inside. And at night, you actually want to drop their temperatures very low into the 60s or less. So out there in nature, a Jackson's chameleon, the ones with the horns, those guys actually, they go through very cold nights and very kind of midway warm days. And they regulate their own body temperature by basking in the sun or going back into the shade. So chameleons are very, very specialized. Like I said, it's a lot of research to be done about having them. They're very fragile. And they require a lot of things. But a sun cage to have them go outside on occasion when the temperature is right, like in the 70s and 80s, is perfectly fine. But during the summer, that's pretty hard to get a day temperature of 70 to 80 degrees, isn't it? So I would say no during this time of year, especially. Yeah, I'm glad I could answer your question. And again, if you ever have more questions, feel free to get a hold of me somehow. And I can further maybe give you guys some links and some other things down in the description box or down in your comments. I can comment back with some answers and some links on how to take care of your animal. I don't mind doing that whatsoever if you are interested. Just let me know. But yeah, the blue-tongued skink, pretty cool. Once again, an omnivorous lizard. They eat snails, other bugs, carrion, eggs, fruits, sometimes vegetables. Pretty neat. I think they are so cute. They kind of look like a velociraptor at that angle, don't they? Clever girl. Oh my goodness, so cute. I love their beautiful black legs. They're so shiny and smooth and sweet. And with beautiful brown eyes. They call them the blue-tongued skink, of course, because they have a blue tongue. So the blue tongue also kind of mimics the death adder snake that they look like. The death adder snake has a bluish blackish tongue as well, kind of purpley hued. But they don't have a forked tongue, do they, like a snake? They have a fleshy, solid tongue, just like us. But also, just in and of itself, that blue color is a flash of color to spook their predators, potentially. So if a predator was flying overhead and they're just hanging out on the grass and they see it fly overhead, first of all, they're going to start pretending to be a snake. They might just hide initially, hide underneath something. But if that doesn't work, they hide their legs, start writhing around like a snake, stick their tongue out, hiss, all the things just to look like a snake, right? That's called mimicry for you guys that don't know. But the tongue is also going to kind of come out like that and show that weird color. And usually in nature, if you see weird, bright colors, that's going to tell you that they might be dangerous. This lizard isn't dangerous except to snails and things, but they pretend to be dangerous by mimicking dangerous animals and by looking scary. They do have teeth though, and this lizard can also lose the tail. They can lose their tail and regenerate the tail. That would be a very, very last ditch effort to stay safe because the tail regenerating takes a lot of energy out of them and it takes a lot of their body fat away for fat storage for them to survive in hard times. But if it comes down to living or dying and the tail gets grabbed, they can actually lose the tail. It will segment right off and then regrow. Isn't that amazing? When the tail regrows though, it doesn't regrow in the same pattern as they originally have. So you can see this tail is an original tail. It's the same uniform pattern all the way down. Typically the tail, if it's regrown, it'll be like a solid pattern of some sort. So it will be very obvious that this animal had a regrown tail. Aw, so cute, don't you think? Lizards also have ears and snakes don't, except for the chameleons. Chameleons don't have ears, right? But most lizards have ear holes. There's an ear hole. This particular lizard has great hearing, great eyesight, great sense of smell, and taste and touch, all 5 senses, which is the case for most lizards. Chameleons, again, they are very unique, very weird. They have all kinds of unique features that we already talked about, as well as a lack of ears and things, and they don't really have a good sense of smell to our knowledge either. So we're still learning all about them, and we don't really know, but they're extremely visual. Like they've kind of foregone all of their other senses to have an amazing sense of sight. Pretty insane. Okay, BT, you've been fantastic. He is so cute. Okay, BT, let's rest and we'll move on to our final lizard after we watch a couple videos. Oh, you know what? While we still hold him, let's watch him eat. This is going to kind of give away which diet it was, but we'll go over that again. No big deal. So this is this very lizard eating from a plate. You can kind of see what he's eating. I'm just going to go ahead and play it. Pretty cute. Again, lizards aren't the most polite eaters in the universe, so I think they're so cute. Please don't eat like this at home, kids. Please close your mouth while chewing your food. Nobody wants to see your seafood. But I don't mind seeing seafood of BT. Look at that lizard go. I think he's enjoying his food in this video. Can you see yourself down there eating? Well, what do you think? There's some worms in there. There's some kind of mushy brown stuff and some mushy yellow stuff. Nom, nom. Look at that tongue. The tongue's going to help them to kind of eat too, just like our tongue helps us eat, right? Kind of similar. They got some saliva in there as well to help them break down their food. Lizards are very impolite eaters, aren't they? They do have teeth. It's hard to see the teeth, right? Just like on the iguana. But they do have tiny, sharp teeth. Not as sharp as the iguana, I would say, but it is up there. But these guys, again, they aren't really inclined to bite. They can bite if they really feel upset. But that's not really going to be their first way of defense. So they don't tend to bite as much as other lizards do sometimes. They're pretty sweet, especially when raised in human care. And you have a what we call captive bred animal that's used to humans from the time they were very young. One fun fact about this lizard is they are not an egg-laying species. We talked about one of the chameleons that we have, the Jackson chameleon, right? Like Janet. Janet is a live-bearing chameleon. Most chameleons lay eggs, but Janet the Jackson's chameleon wouldn't if she were to have babies. And this one as well, BT's species, the blue-tongued skink and all skinks, they actually give live birth. Isn't that amazing? So a female skink of this kind, and all skinks, honestly, they would have live births instead of eggs. So they hang on to their eggs a little bit longer inside of them, and they take their sweet time developing and, come out into mom's uterus. And then they're born just like we are. Isn't that amazing? So this is one type of lizard that doesn't lay eggs. So cool, and one of my favorite facts about them. All right, BT, you are beautiful and fantastic and gorgeous. Remember, they're not slimy. They're just very shiny and beautiful. Okay, you guys, BT's going to rest right here beside me. And we're going to show you one last lizard after watching another video, if you don't mind. I hope you guys are enjoying the lizard talk. Lizards are one of my favorite animals. Let's see if you guys have any questions before I keep on going. Let's see here. And remember, if you have any suggestions for further programming, like next time, please let me know. If you have any suggestions on what you want to see. We had somebody suggest that we talk about prehistoric animals and dinosaurs. I thought that would be really fun. And whatever else you guys want to see, please let me know, and I'd love to take your suggestions. I'm glad you're loving it, Samantha. So good to see you. Okay, let's go ahead and share another lizard eating. So this here is a bearded dragon. You guys know what bearded dragons are, right? We don't have a bearded dragon on the show today. This is ZZ when he was a baby, and ZZ's eating some salad as well as bugs. So I think he's just skipping over the salad in this video and eating his bugs. So there are some live dubia roaches on the plate there. Oh my gosh, he's too cute. And he's also got salad. I think that time he had collard greens, and it looks, oh my goodness, he's gonna get the other back. Yum. He's got collard greens and a little bit of carrot that time. Carrot is fine on occasion. Sweet potato is a little bit healthier than carrot, just FYI. Like I showed you on the example salad. And squash is good for them too on occasion. But those greens are going to be the staple of their salad portion. Very important for them. And you can see there's some powder on there. That's those vitamins and supplements that they need, of course. And he's just chomping down on his bugs. Yum. I always tell ZZ, hey, don't just eat your croutons. You want to eat the salad too. And he usually listens. What a good lizard he is. He's so gorgeous. Yes, ZZ is amazing. Look at those chompers. He's so pretty. He's got that kind of orangey color. That's only found in the care of humans, to my knowledge. I don't believe that that would be a color you would see in Australia. So bearded dragons as well as blue-tongued skinks are actually from Australia. So Samantha likes Australian lizards, apparently. But he's kind of an orangey, hypomelanistic version of a bearded dragon, which is very common in the care of humans. Okay, so for this last animal, I'm actually going to show her video first, and then we'll bring out the animal because she's quite the handful. Yes, I agree. Cutie. So cute. So let's show our last video that we have so that that's all out of the way. But I think you're going to really enjoy this video, and then we'll meet the real animal that the video is about. How about that? One more video, and here's another omnivorous lizard from South America, actually. It is the black and white tegu. So this is Lulu, our Colombian black and white tegu. And right here, you're going to see her eating her favorite food, which is eggs and some other food items. She's eating eggs, banana, dog food, and worms. But the egg is always her favorite. Her second favorite, I would probably say, is probably the banana. But since everything's kind of covered in egg in this video, she's just going for everything. So why not? The Colombian and Argentine black and white tegus are from South America. You can see her teeth in there, right? Look at that tongue go. They do have a big, giant, pink forked tongue, which they use to smell the air and taste the air as well. And while they're eating, they use it to kind of slurp up their food on their lips and do like that, almost like a dog does. It's pretty amazing. Look at her go. It's Lulu. She's so cute. She really enjoys her food. And these guys are kind of nice because they will eat off of a plate. Most of your lizards will. Some lizards, like chameleons, you have to feed them in their enclosure or kind of in a specialized cup or something with the live bugs because the live bugs are going to get everywhere. So it's a little bit more challenging. So with lizards like this, they don't necessarily need the live bugs. She'll eat those too sometimes. She's usually pretty lazy too, just like BT. But they'll eat off of a plate. So they get a lot of the protein that they need from that dog or cat food that we feed them. And the egg, right? So these guys do eat eggs with the shell and everything in nature. They'll actually seek out eggs and eat them whole or crunch them up and eat them just like she's doing right now by slurping them up. Look at her go. Slurp, slurp. They do have pretty sharp teeth. Tegus are not inclined to bite humans either. They're actually pretty sweet lizards too. But they are very large lizards. So they're not really a beginner lizard as well. So let me show you her really quick. You know, one moment I'm going to prepare everything and then I'll be right back. How about that? Hang on, guys. I'll be right back. Okay, guys, sorry about that. I've realized that I had all the diets that I had set on top of Lulu's enclosure, so forgive me. She's coming out now. Hey, Lulu. Everybody's ready to see you. They've been very patient. Here she is. This is my Lulu. So Lulu came to us as a rescue as well, just like Joanna the iguana and some of our other animals. Some of our animals are donated. Some of them are rescues, etc. So she's a rescue. She actually came from the streets. She's a street lizard. So back when we lived in Dallas, I got a call from one of the humane societies, one of the animal shelters out there, that there was a lizard on the loose, and they had caught her up. And they didn't know she was a girl yet, and neither did we. And they didn't know what species it was. They said it was a tegu. They called it an Argentine tegu. But Argentine tegus have more white on their face. She's a Colombian tegu. They have more black on their face. So that's the main difference. Also, Colombian tegus don't get nearly as large as Argentine black and white tegus. These guys are very dimorphic. If you know what to look for, dimorphic means male and female look different. So once they reach a certain size, like her size, we can tell she's a girl because she doesn't have big cheeks. So males of both the Colombian and the Argentine black and white tegus have great big fat, enormous, huge cheeks. Like abnormally weird looking, huge fat cheeks. If you see a male, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. She doesn't have that. She just has a nice streamlined face. She doesn't have those weird cheeks. I think those weird cheeks on the male look really cool, but she just doesn't have them because she's a girl. Now, also during the catch-up, she actually tried to defend herself by trying to bite, trying to get away, and by losing her tail. Can you guys see the tail there? But once she settles down again, I'll show you again. She just wants to get down and play. So these guys do lose their tail for defense. I'm going to back up so you can see. And you can probably, whoa, she's trying to get her balance. She would have a totally black and white tail, but now it's kind of grown back kind of white because she regenerated her tail once we had her. So once we had her, her tail had already been lost in that catch-up, which happens sometimes. She was probably just scared. And I don't know if they grabbed her by the tail or not. I wasn't there, so I can't attest to that. I hope they wouldn't grab her by the tail. But she might have just lost it in the craziness of it all. They probably caught her up with a towel or a net or something scary. So sometimes their tail can like whip up against something and come off. But that's what happened during the catch-up. And her tail has grown back just fine. It's a little bit wonky looking with the white color, but that's kind of cool. It's kind of like special to her, right? But she was caught up in a neighborhood, just in the streets, where they shouldn't be. We think it was probably an escaped or released pet, which of course you should never do that. If you ever find yourself in a position where you have a pet that you can no longer care for, just find it a good home. It's really not that hard nowadays with the internet. Even for dogs and cats, you want to put them out, put your feelers out on Facebook or something or wherever, find a good home for them. Don't abandon them. Definitely don't release them. Please don't release your dogs and cats. Please don't release your lizards if you have one. If you are looking for a home for your pet, that is something that we actually do from time to time. And we can absolutely help you find a home for your animal if you can no longer take care of them. We can also give you lots and lots of good pet advice. Some of our animals are actually, like I said, either donated to our zoo or rescues, like Lulu is. And as you can see now, Lulu has come around very, very nicely to handling. Tegus actually do really well with handling once they're used to you. At first, she was quite the wild woman. She was very scared of humans because of all that ordeal that she went through. And now she's super sweet, and she's doing animal programs now. She's doing really well. You saw her eating her diet. She might be smelling her diet because I've got some of them over here, but don't worry, she's not an aggressive lizard. She's probably just trying to get down and play. These guys are pretty active. They're a very large lizard, but this isn't as large as they get. The females can get around 3 to 4 foot. For the Colombians, for the Argentines, they get bigger. And for male Colombian tegus, I would say 5 foot is probably maximum from head to tail. Not like the body, but from head to tail. Argentine tegus can get larger than that. Be very, very heavy. They're almost like a monitor lizard. Some monitor lizards are small, but like a large monitor lizard. You can see her beautiful pink tongue. She is so pretty. Oh my goodness, she knows it too, I think. She's got gorgeous brown eyes. Did you know that tegus are one of the smartest reptiles in the world? They're almost like dogs. Like they're very, very smart. You can talk to them. I swear, I have actually told her a few things and she understood me. So, for example, sometimes she'll be shedding her skin because all lizards and all reptiles in general shed their skin. And tegus will shed in flakes of skin as they grow. And one time she was kind of like having trouble shedding or you know, just trying to get a piece off of her in her enclosure. And I literally looked down and I pointed at her water. She has a great big water tub that she can get into. I said, Lulu, if you want, you can get into your water and that will be a lot easier to get the skin off. And you know what she did? I am not joking. She went straight into her water and started soaking and then got that skin off. I don't know if she really was listening to me or if it was a coincidence, but these guys are extra, extra smart when it comes to being a lizard. They are very trainable. She's learned that I am not scary anymore, that I provide all the eggs and all the dog food and bananas. And she knows that she is just fine now. So we're really happy to have her. She's doing really well. She's a very, very neat lizard to have. She's probably looking for that food right now. I would love to feed her in front of you guys, but it would be very messy. So maybe I'll do a video after this and share it later. You guys can see it next time. Although I just showed you a video of her eating, so it'd be the same thing. Pretty cool. She's so awesome. Tegus are very, very special lizards as well, but they're also an invasive species in places like Florida. Did you guys know that? So in Florida, they have escaped or been released as pets that people no longer want, etc. Or sometimes hurricanes happen with breeding facilities and other places that have tegus. Especially Argentine tegus are very common down there as pets. And they escape into Florida and become feral. And then they become invasive. And since you guys are little piggies, yes, you are. You're very, very picky. Not picky, piggy. They eat everything. They're going to eat eggs. They're going to eat other animals. They're going to eat vegetation. They'll eat anything. And so they eat things like alligator eggs and bird eggs and make other animals not able to have their babies, right? So if invasive species are loose in areas they shouldn't be, then they put a lot of pressure on animals that should be there, like alligators, for example, and other native birds and whatnot. Another animal that's actually invasive to the Florida area is the green iguana. That's another animal that has escaped or been set free in many, many cases in Florida. And they do very well, both these species do, because they're both from South America, which is a very similar climate to Florida, right? At least most places in Florida. So they thrive down there. And other animals that aren't doing so well, that aren't doing so well, like, for example, the American crocodile. The American crocodile isn't doing very well in Florida right now and in general. And so if this tegu goes around eating all the crocodile eggs, well, how many baby crocodiles to repopulate? So that's not good. So let's see who's talking to me right now. Tori says, we caught one at work, caught it with eggs. Were they eating eggs? Oh, I bet they were. What's an Argentine tegu? And where do you live, Tori? I want to know. Tell me all the details. She says it was like 6 times her size. Yes, so it's probably an Argentine tegu. The Colombians don't get nearly as large. Now, reptile keepers tend to give Colombian tegus a little bit of a bad reputation because they can be a little bit cranky, but I believe that's just mainly because the Colombian tegus used to be all wild caught specimens that were in the pet trade. Now we know better than to wild catch animals, right? For the most part. So as you might imagine, now she's getting all crazy, right on cue. So if you have an animal that's bred in the care of humans, they get used to humans from birth, right? And then they're a lot less cantankerous. She's just ready to get down, I guess. So with lizard training, sometimes you have to just treadmill them in your arms until they settle down. I'm not going to grab her because she won't like that and she'll be upset with me because she's going to think I'm a predator or something. So I'm just going to let her kind of wear herself out. And these guys are generally very lazy. So typically they settle right down. See that? She's being awfully dramatic, but she just wants to get down. She's like, give me my eggs. Chill out. You're not going to get eggs for this. That'd be poor animal training on my part. Settle down. Wiggle wiggles. There we go. Much better. But if I were to grab her like by the neck or something right now, she wouldn't like that, would she? We wouldn't be friends. So I'm just letting her kind of wear herself out like a treadmill. You done? Tegus have amazing eyesight, great sense of smell and taste, and great hearing. They've got little ears on the side of their head right there. And beautiful skin. This is also another animal that will change color over time with growth, but they don't change color on command or at will, I should say, like a chameleon or an iguana can. So these guys and the blue-tongued skink have that in common. Not only do they have a similar diet and are from across the world from each other, which I find so interesting, they also can't change color. Isn't that cool? So, oh, Tori says, in San Antonio, someone let it go, we think, behind our vet hospital. I see. She says, we used to have an extra large kennel to hold it, then called the zoo. A lot of people were calling us that we had an alligator under our dumpster. So they thought it was an alligator initially. Oh my goodness. She's not an alligator. Definitely not an alligator. But that's pretty cool. I wouldn't mind finding another tegu. I think they're awesome. And you know what? It's not for everybody. The tegu is definitely a better pet lizard, I would say, than an iguana or a monitor lizard in general. But a tegu is huge, and they're intelligent, and they need a lot of care, and they're not for beginners whatsoever. So definitely not. And like she has about a 200-gallon equivalent enclosure where she can run around and dig and have a good old time. And she also gets out quite a bit for programs and other training sessions and just to be held and whatnot. So they need a lot of things. They're not an easy lizard at all, but they are pretty awesome. Everybody loves her. See, now she's being all lazy. See that? Don't worry, I'll feed her after this. So cute. They're so smooth and soft as well. Anyone that isn't familiar with reptiles, I think they might be slimy. Like I said, they're not slimy. They're very dry. Just smooth, like leather. So pretty. Okay. Well, thanks, Lulu, for being an awesome lizard animal ambassador. Now that you've been calm, I think this is a good time to reward her by getting to be put back down. So sometimes an animal's reward during training is just being let down again. Maybe she's not into being held right now, although she's doing really well. But this is the behavior that I want, right? Is for her to be calm. So this is a great time to actually set her down, for her to learn that if I'm wiggly, I'm not going to get set down. So the more often you do that and the more repetitive you are about that, the more they learn. They're very smart. And hopefully she won't, be as wiggly next time, right? And if she is, we'll just go through it again. But she wasn't trying to hurt me. She was just trying to get down. That's all. But I don't want to encourage that behavior, because the behavior that I want is this behavior. So I'm going to let her go down now because that's what she wanted. So say see you later to Lulu. I think she was wonderful. Goodbye, Lulu. Look at that little tongue. One more tongue. Show us your tongue one more time. Yeah, good job. Okay. Just gonna sit down gently down here. Good job. See, they can definitely learn. Lizards are a lot smarter than people think that haven't worked with them. If you've worked with lizards, then you know better. But monitors, tegus, iguanas, all those guys are extremely intelligent. They can be trained to target train. They can be trained to do behaviors. They can be trained to be held, all the things. My iguana is very used to me now. She's never really been a very aggressive iguana, but she definitely has her moments. But over time, I've just kind of worked with her to build that trust bond, right? Because iguanas are very afraid of everything, and they want to defend themselves in nature. So it's just natural. Haha. Saying bye to Lulu. Thank you for that story, Tori. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, in San Antonio, that's so. It happens more than people think. Oh, here's another question. Samantha says, I know this isn't a reptile question, but we have stray cats, a mom and 2 babies. Can you help with that? Do you know someone that can take them? Maybe Tori can help you, but I can certainly spread the word. We definitely want to get them out from being out running around, because cats are not great for the environment to be loose. So I don't know of anybody personally off the top of my head, but let me think about it and I'll get back to you. That's a great question and a very responsible question. If you guys ever see stray cats or kittens, we definitely want to get them out of that situation. It's really bad for cats to be on the streets. They live to be an average about 2 to 4 years old, whereas a cat in a house can actually live to be 20 or so. So it's a much shorter life expectancy. It's a much more stressful life for them. And cats are invasive species when they're let to be wild. So they actually eat a lot of birds and kill a lot of birds and lizards and snakes. They don't hunt a lot of rodents as we think they do. A few, but not very often. Rodents are actually very good at easily evading cats. Did you know that? So the amount of rodents that they actually are able to hunt and kill is pretty minimum in comparison to the amount of birds, lizards, snakes, other animals they should not be hunting by comparison. So we want to get cats out of the environment. So it's very responsible, and thank you for bringing that up. We love lizards, and we want to make sure cats aren't eating native lizards and wildlife. So please keep your cats inside. If you have kitty cats, it's good for them. If you can, please do that. Or keep them in a catio or a porch outside, right? That's screened in and secure. That's what I suggest with all kitty cats. I'm a cat person as well. I had a cat for about 18 years. He lived to be almost 20 years old. He was a big part of my life, but I didn't let him outside because I know better, right? But yes, we can be looking into that, and I will start spreading the word. And Samantha, I'll get with you. We'll talk soon about that. How about that? Yes. And anybody on here that knows of anybody here in San Antonio, Texas, that can help with kitty cats, please let Samantha know. She's down below in the comment. Oh, okie dokie. Yeah, I don't want them to get hurt either. Definitely not. It's not good for your cats to be outside. Okay, so let's go back over briefly our little lizard diets. We've met all of our lizard animal ambassadors today. We met George the chameleon, the panther chameleon. We met BT the blue-tongued skink, and we met Lulu the tegu, right? By the way, Lulu, we didn't know what was a boy or girl when we first got her. Because she was quite a bit smaller when we received her. And we thought, well, we'll just give her a generic name. So we called her Lou. And I figured if she was a girl, we'd just call her Lulu. And if it was a boy, we'd just Lou or Lewis, right? Here's one, San Antonio Pets Alive. Very good suggestion. And again, I'll keep brainstorming myself and ask around. But yes, that should be a good first step. Samantha, if you're paying attention. I'm sure you are. Okay, so we got our salad. I bet you guys know who this belongs to. Let me know who you think eats the salad. I think we already talked about this. She wasn't here today, but she was in a video eating this very salad plate. Salad example. Okay. We have, let's see, we have this kind of powdered diet that we turn into a liquid. It mimics and replaces nectar in the wild is what this lizard would eat. This same lizard might also eat bugs, but this is a very specific lizard's diet as well. You see it? It's just a bunch of mealworms. Excuse me, I need a drink of water again, I think. One easy way that you can help animals is by not using plastic straws. You want to use reusable straws instead and reusable water containers as well. Another diet that we have is our little omnivore's diet. It has bananas, dried mealworms, and canned dog food. I wonder who that could be. Then we have our little salad with worms on it. So this is a salad again, but with worms added to the diet. And this animal also eats live bugs too. We have bugs and just bugs. All the bugs. Let's look at them again. Here they are. A bunch of great big insects. See them? Oh my goodness, they're going to escape. I'm not going to let them escape. So that is one animal's diet as well. And then one more omnivore's diet is the one with the big, beautiful raw egg on top of it. Delicious. Yum. I know you guys like dog food, eggs, bananas, and worms every day for your breakfast. Yum. So who do we think goes to what, right? Well, we showed you already some of them. So how about the lizards that weren't here already, or weren't here today, rather? Let me see. Donna says, I know. Why don't you go ahead and guess? Samantha, do you have any guesses? I don't know if anybody else is here. Debbie, hello, Debbie. Lizard on the loose. I know, that was Lulu. Lulu on the loose. That sounds like a TV show or a movie, right? Maybe we should make a movie called Lulu on the Loose. What a good adventure story. I bet you have been geeking out at work. Sometime you should record yourself geeking out to my show. Yes. Any guesses? Joanna eats the greens. That is right. So this beautiful salad is going to our iguana. The green iguana named Joanna. Absolutely. That's what the salad goes to. Very, very good. What else? I don't know what you're referring to, Ricardo. Mom's just laughing. Thanks for laughing. Was I funny? I hope it was. Delicious eggs. That's probably what it was. So I find it so interesting that lizards are very similar to each other, but have such different food. Yes, Lulu eats the one with the egg. As you guys saw in the video, she loves her eggs. She really does. That's her favorite. There it is. Now, I made it nice and pretty for you guys to look at, right? But when I feed it to her, I think I'm going to mix it all up because she eats it a lot better if the egg is just all over everything. What if I just took a bite right now? Ugh. I'll eat the banana, I guess. Worms is easy? Just the worms? You're close. There was several worm diets. So remember we had a salad with worms. We have worms by itself. We have worms, dog food, and bananas. We have worms on Lulu's diet, which we already said. Rue eats the nectar. What kind of animal is Rue, Ricardo? What kind of animal is that? Yes, that's one of the animals that wasn't here today. Rue is her name. The worms for George or Freddie? That is definitely a possibility. So the worms by themselves can go to chameleons too. That is definitely a possibility, but we have another small lizard here that wasn't here today. So it sounds like, let's see, what do you think Freddie and George eat? The chameleons. What do you think they eat? Here we go. Yes, you are so right. Good job. You win the contest. What contest are we having? Who knows? You get to be here and win. So Samantha's right. Bugs and greens are a bearded dragon's diet. So bearded dragons eat salad and also bugs, right? And then just bugs and live bugs to chameleons. So one fun thing about chameleons is they usually don't eat dead things because they're very visual, right? We talked about them being so very visual. So they kind of need that visual stimulation to go after their prey. So that is what they do. So typically they're only going to eat live insects. And of course, these are large live insects. So a panther chameleon like George would definitely eat that size. Created gecko, you're close. I think that was a typo. Sure. Sure, Samantha, why not? And great job, Samantha. Very, very good. So yes, Ricardo is right, but he just said the wrong name of the gecko. It's a crested gecko. I won't make fun of you too much longer. So crested geckos are really neat little arboreal geckos that live in New Caledonia, which is an island off the coast of Australia. So they're another Australasian kind of continent animal. So we have several lizards that live in Australia, right? Did you know there were so many lizard species in Australia? I bet you did if you watched Steve Irwin or any other shows like that. So the crested geckos get the nectar. Crested, very, very good. Not created. That's a common typo though. Crested geckos. So we have several crested geckos. One of them is Rue. We have Rue, Paul, Queenie, Juju, Charles. Oh my gosh, what's the other one's name? Evan. It was Eve, but it's a male now. So Evan always was a male, but we didn't know. That's what I meant. And Andre. Those are all the crested geckos that we have. Those guys eat the nectar powder as well as calcium powder and vitamin powder on their bugs. So they could eat worms. They could also eat crickets and some other things as long as they're appropriately sized. What about BT? What do we think that BT eats? What about this? What is that? We've got dog food. We've got dried worms. Remember, BT's lazy. This animal would also eat snails. That's a possibility, as well as bananas. So this is BT's diet right here. Yes. And the last one was just the worms by itself. Now, this is a little bit tricky because a lot of lizards do eat the dried worms, right? Like we already said, but worms and only worms, usually live and dried mixed together, is going to be our leopard geckos. So leopard geckos eat a lot of bugs. They do not eat any kind of plants or nectar or fruits and vegetables. They're insectivores. So leopard geckos are ground-dwelling geckos from the Middle East and in nature. And those guys are pretty commonly kept in the care of humans as well. They thrive on a diet of mealworms, crickets, some dubia roaches, some waxworms now and then, things like that. And they are really easy to feed because you can put them in a bowl kind of like that. I would recommend a different kind of bowl for live worms, but they'll eat them right out of the bowl and they're very, very good at it. So yes, tricky. Yes, I do. So we recommend for chameleons not using the one with D3 too often. You can give them, like rarely give them the one with the D3. But what you want to do instead is give them a calcium powder supplement that's made for chameleons, like without D3. And there's also some with bee pollen in it as well. It's really, really healthy for them. If you want more information, I'll put it down in the description or in the comments below or give you a link. There are some really good chameleon sources to source your information on chameleons. There's one called Chameleon Academy, which is an excellent source for all your chameleon care. But chameleons are very, very different than other reptiles. Most of your other reptiles can get just a good quality calcium supplement on almost every feeding. That's what you're seeing all over these diets. See the white stuff all over the diet? It's not mold, I promise. It's calcium. And once a week, they're going to get, all of them are going to get like a multivitamin that's made for reptiles. And it's really important to not skimp on your vitamins. And I don't mean by like putting a ton on your food. You want to just give them like a sprinkling of it. It's fine. But what I mean is you don't want to skimp on the price. You want to buy really high quality supplements and vitamins for your reptiles because that's where they're sourcing a lot of their vitamins, a lot of their growth depends on that, a lot of their health depends on that. So you don't want to just get the cheapo stuff. And if you want, I can actually give you some links again to where you can find the best quality calcium and other supplements for your pet. So you guys have been a fantastic audience today. I really appreciate you tuning in and asking all your questions about lizard diet. That was really fun. I think that was something kind of neat to do a little bit different. Sometimes we talk about animal care here at Once in a While. Sometimes we just meet the animal ambassadors and talk all about them, depending on what you guys want to know. Today is a little bit in the middle of the day, so I expect some people are at work and whatnot. So please share this video to your Facebook or to your YouTube, or share the link with your friends and family. That way everybody can see this video and learn all about lizards if they're interested. We do have live streams every Wednesday at 3:30 p.m. Central Time. And we are also working on thinking about doing an Instagram live stream as well, maybe once a week too, because our Instagram, how we live stream on Instagram doesn't simultaneously stream along with YouTube and Facebook. So we're thinking about doing just a separate kind of shorter Instagram live stream, just separately. So let me know what you guys think about that and what day you want to suggest for that. We picked Wednesday in the middle of the week for our live stream on Facebook and YouTube, but we'll let you know if things change. We'll see you next week here at 3:30 p.m. Central Time on Wednesday, and we'll have another subject to talk about and some other animals to meet. And I hope you guys have enjoyed the show. Once again, the show is free. The live streams are always free. But if you guys want to book your own personal Zoom room animal encounter, feel free to contact me either by onceinawilde.com or by my number down below. You can let me know if you're interested, and we can book your personal animal encounter via Zoom, and you can customize which animals that you meet. We have all different kinds of animals here at Once in a While, not just reptiles, but we also have mammals, birds, invertebrates, and amphibian and reptiles. So if you guys want to meet any of those animals, please let me know, and we'd love to see you on one of those Zooms. The show is free, like I said, but there are tipping options for you if you'd like to tip, if you liked what you have seen here and you enjoyed our zoo, our little zoo that we have, our mobile zoo, our virtual zoo right today. And if you guys want to help us take care of our animals, there is an Amazon wish list on onceinawilde.com. If you go to onceinawilde.com, our website, scroll all the way down to the bottom and you can find that Amazon wish list on the bottom of the screen there. You can't miss it. It's a big box that you can click, and that will lead you to our Amazon wish list, which is pre-selected items for our animals, which you can ship to us if you so desire. You can also tip us directly via Venmo, Cash App, and PayPal if you would like. Now, with that being said, we hope to see you guys next week, and stay tuned for, like I said, hopefully we'll be doing an Instagram live stream or other videos coming up in the near future and other announcements happening in the near future. We hope to see you guys next time here at Once in a Wild.
We are nothing 'cause we're ordinary, but we love to be your friend. Hold our hands and let's have fun together, singing as loud as you can. Everybody singing once in a while. Together. Once in a while. I wanna hear you say once in a while. And that's the fun for me and you.
Bye, guys. We'll see you here next time at Once in a Wild. Bye.